Welcome back to Beyond the Scarlet Moon, where killers never truly die and nightmares never fade. There are many names that strike fear into the hearts of horror fans. Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees. But one name carries a sinister laugh, a twisted sense of humor, and a streak of unrelenting violence. That name is Charles Lee Ray, or, as the world knows him, Chucky. The killer doll who has haunted our nightmares for decades didn't just appear out of thin air. His story begins long before he was trapped in plastic, back when he was just a man, a ruthless, sadistic murderer. This is the terrifying backstory of Charles Lee Ray, the man who became Chucky. Charles Lee Ray was born on May 1st, 1958, in Hackensack, New Jersey. From an early age, there were signs that something was deeply wrong with him. Unlike most children who feared the dark, Charles found comfort in it. His fascination with death began at a young age when he discovered his father's lifeless body, stabbed to death in their home. His mother, devastated by grief, attempted to shield him from the trauma, but in reality, it only nurtured something dark inside him. By the time he was 10, Charles had already taken his first life. One night, after his mother had tucked him into bed, he snuck out of his room, found a kitchen knife, and crept into his mother's room. He slit her throat while she slept. As blood soaked the sheets, Charles felt something he had never experienced before. Power. He wasn't afraid. He didn't cry. He simply watched as the life drained from her eyes. With no family left, he was placed in foster care, bouncing from one abusive home to another. But each new household only strengthened his hatred for humanity. He learned to manipulate, to lie, to charm his way into trust before turning on those who took him in. By the time he was a teenager, he had perfected the art of the kill. Charles eventually left Hackensack, finding solace in the streets of Chicago. There, he fully embraced his dark urges, carving a name for himself as the notorious Lakeshore Strangler. He moved through the city like a shadow, stalking victims, taking lives, and leaving behind a trail of mutilated bodies. But Charles wasn't just a mindless killer. He had an obsession with voodoo and the supernatural. Under the guidance of John Dr. Death Bishop, a local practitioner of dark magic, Charles became deeply invested in Haitian voodoo rituals. He believed that true power came not just from taking lives, but from controlling them. Bishop, however, warned him against misusing the ancient rituals. But Charles had no interest in morality. He wanted immortality. By the late 1980s, the police were closing in on Charles Lee Ray. On one fateful night in 1988, he found himself being chased through the streets of Chicago by Detective Mike Norris. Shot and bleeding, Charles took refuge in a toy store, his life slipping away with every step. Desperate, he knew he was going to die, unless he did something drastic. With his last ounce of strength, Charles grabbed a good guy doll and collapsed onto the store floor. He began to chant the incantation he had spent years perfecting, the voodoo spell of soul transference. Ade du Damballa, give me the power, I beg of you, he roared, calling upon dark forces to save him. Outside, the storm raged. Lightning crackled through the sky, striking the store with a deafening explosion. Moments later, Charles Lee Ray's body went lifeless, but his soul had found a new home. The next morning, a mother named Karen Barkley purchased the very same good guy doll for her son, Andy. She had no idea that inside that plastic shell, the spirit of a killer still breathed. Chucky was born. From that moment on, Chucky's reign of terror truly began. He wasted no time revealing himself to Andy, whispering threats in the dead of night, manipulating the boy into doing his bidding. But Andy wasn't just another victim. He was the first person to ever challenge Chucky's control. Through the years, Chucky became relentless. He survived multiple attempts to destroy him, each time coming back in a new body, stronger and deadlier. Chucky's reign of terror began in Child's Play, where he set his sights on young Andy Barkley, tormenting him and his mother. Though they managed to burn him alive, the nightmare was far from over. In Child's Play 2, Chucky was reconstructed in a factory, resurrected to hunt Andy once again, leading to a deadly confrontation amid an assembly line of good guy dolls. The horror continued in Child's Play 3, as an older Andy found himself at a military academy. Yet, no matter where he ran, Chucky always followed. The saga took a twisted turn in Bride of Chucky, introducing Tiffany, Chucky's former lover, whom he killed and then resurrected inside a doll of her own, making them a lethal duo. Their story expanded further in Seed of Chucky, as they welcomed their child, Glenn/Glenda, a conflicted offspring struggling with their dark heritage. A decade later, Curse of Chucky revealed chilling new depths to his past, targeting the daughter of one of his long-forgotten victims. But Chucky's evolution didn't stop there. By Cult of Chucky, he unlocked a terrifying new ability, splitting his soul across multiple dolls, creating an unstoppable army. His story continued in the Chucky TV series, where his murderous influence spread further than ever before, proving that his ultimate plan is still unfolding, and his thirst for blood will never be quenched. Decades have passed since that fateful night in the toy store, but Chucky's thirst for blood has never wavered. He has evolved, adapted, and spread his evil far beyond what Charles Lee Ray could have ever imagined. No matter how many times he is destroyed, he always finds a way back. So the next time you see a doll sitting on a shelf, staring at you with lifeless eyes, ask yourself, is it really just a toy? Or is something far more sinister lurking within? Because as Chucky himself once said, you just can't keep a good guy down. Thank you for listening to Beyond the Scarlet Moon. If you enjoyed this chilling tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a story from the darkness. Until next time, sweet dreams. Or should I say, good night and good luck.